Hello everyone, my name is Raymond Chen, and that big tub of lard you see in this photo is me. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how I changed my life in just 1 year. Throughout my life growing up, I was always the chubby one in the group, and this was just from lack of self-control. There was never really any athletic ability in my body growing up, and my eating habits certainly didn't help. For the last 10 years of my life, that would be my story, and I would always be self-conscious about it. But I'd never really do anything about it. There would be little spells where I'd try and change it, but I lacked consistency and mental fortitude to keep at it. So I'd always let myself down, regardless. It eventually got to a point where I looked at myself in the mirror and I said to myself, this can't go on any longer. I can't keep going on looking like this. Now, I must stress first that you should be happy with yourself, no matter your body shape, and you should never feel pressure to change yourself for anyone. However, I wanted to change myself for the better, for me. And I also know that there are people who would have been in my position back then. And if this video even manages to motivate or inspire just even one person, then I can be happy with the video and see it as a success. On the 27th of July 2020, I decided to change my life properly. This video was taken on that day. And I've measured out 15 stone, which is a good, well, obviously it's not good, it's very overweight. I'm hoping to try and lose as much as I can, just make my body a lot more leaner. Yeah, today is the start of hopefully a journey where I better myself, and fingers crossed we can make it. Let's get at it. But yeah, fingers crossed we can do this, and hopefully this turns into a sick progress video. Let's go. This is what I look like now, a year on, and yeah, this is my body now. So compared to last year and the photos you've seen at the start of the video, it's definitely a major improvement. I am currently weighing in at 75 kilograms, and before anyone starts saying, oh, you don't look good, you're vain and all this, I know that I do not have the most perfect physique at all. Just look at my core for one up, and then just look bad. Like, I know it's not perfect. You don't need to remind me, but I'm well aware of it, and it doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm still going to improve and try my best to improve my body in general, from the core to my back to my arms and everything. And I won't stop until I smash it out of the park. So, now that you guys seen where I'm at now, I am going to share with you guys what I've done over the last year to get from that to how I'm looking now. So, obviously, before we go on ahead, before anyone gets touchy in the comments, now I know that I'm not an expert in the fitness industry. I've only started a year ago. I'm still learning as it is. But these are the tips that helped me get to from where I was a year ago, year and a month, to where I am now. And obviously it's somewhat of a slight improvement, I guess. But obviously the tips and tricks that I'm about to share throughout this video might not apply to you guys. It might do, but obviously if you guys can take some of the things that I've told you on board and it helps you, then obviously that means a lot to me, because I know how hard it is to actually crack on with this big lifestyle change, I guess. So what we're going to talk about first is motivation and consistency. For me, just from personal experience, these are probably one of the biggest factors in terms of undergoing a lifestyle change in fitness. I myself am a great example of why you shouldn't be inconsistent and why you should be consistent, because obviously at the start of the video I mentioned how I tried to do this lifestyle change like a couple of years earlier, but obviously I've failed. Like before, I'd do it for 2 weeks, 4 weeks tops, and I'd even post stories like, yeah, we're gonna change, but obviously, well, just look at that photo. Obviously there weren't any changes back then, but compared to now where I actually stayed consistent, cracked out on with it for at least a year straight, now we have seen somewhat of a change. But that is one of the big reasons why you should be consistent if you are going to go for this, and don't be like Raven from before. That guy's just lazy. Anyways, just a general rule, I genuinely believe it probably takes 3 months or 12 weeks to see a proper change in terms of fitness. Whether you're cutting or bulking, usually 12 weeks tops, and you'll see proper changes. So when I first started this fitness journey properly last year, I was lucky to have 2 of my closest friends in general, Lewis and Jack, who have been with me since the start of this journey and made sure that I was on the right track to achieve what I wanted to achieve and be where I wanted to be, and just made sure I was doing the right things, whether it be form or diet or just making sure I'm going to gym and not slacking off, because obviously they believed in me and they gave me that extra push. So that's why one of the tips I'm going to share with you guys is try and go with a friend if you can. Then it's obviously helpful, because most people will probably see going to the gym as a daunting task, but if you go with a friend it isn't as boring and you can support each other, and it'd just be better than going alone, obviously. But I know for some people's cases that isn't doable. I just want to quickly nail home that, like, if you can't go with a friend, then it doesn't mean you shouldn't go to the gym, because you're the person who's in control of your body at the end of the day, and like your friends aren't going to drag you. What I'm trying to say after babbling on is you're the one that has to be willing to push yourself and make that change, because if you're not willing to do it, then why should anyone else try and help you? You need to be able to help yourself to get yourself to a better place. And trust me, I know it's hard. Just push yourself, because it will be worth it in the end if you believe in yourself. Right, so at this point in the video, I'm about to go a bit deep. At this point, there was a point in my life where I had been diagnosed with depression, and I had been prescribed medication like fluoxetine to try and help me deal with it. This isn't really something that I went public about. Only my closest friends knew, obviously. But now you might be thinking, why does that matter? Why am I talking about it? Well, it does. Not for me, obviously, but for other people, because I'm well aware that mental health has become such a massive thing in people's lives, especially in our generation nowadays with social media. What I'm trying to get at here is, from my own personal experiences, when I started this journey, especially after a couple months, like especially after seeing results and getting acknowledgement from my friends about it, getting support from them about my achievements and progression in this fitness journey, it's definitely helped a lot in terms of my mental health, and it's made me realise that I'd never needed to rely on medication to actually make myself feel better, when really I could make myself feel better myself. It just came to a point where I realised that I feel better when I'm actively taking control of my life rather than relying on medication to do it for me. And this might be the case for you guys. I hope it does end up being so if you do take on board what I say from this video, and hopefully it helps you guys. But in general, for me, it's helped me. Right, now swiftly moving on from that bit of morbid content, the next thing you guys will want to know in general about my fitness journey is diet. So when I started this fitness grind, we'll call it, I had to decide whether to go on a calorie deficit or a surplus. So to quickly just explain it, a calorie deficit is where you're consuming less calories than you are obviously burning throughout the day, and effectively you should lose weight, whether it be muscle or fat. That depends on the exercise you do. And calorie surplus is genuinely just the opposite of a calorie deficit. So obviously you consume more calories than you burn through the day, and obviously through that you'll gain weight. Once again, whether it's fat or muscle, your food intake decides that. So as an example, we all have maintenance calories or resting calories, and that's the amount of calories that you'll burn throughout the day without additional exercise. So we'll use me as an example. I just genuinely burn 2,000 calories just from existing in the day. That's including sleep, talking, just existing, really. Like, you generally just burn 2,000 calories. But that's enough about what my maintenance calories are. You can genuinely find out what your maintenance calories are through a calculator that I used online. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. So obviously in the state that I was in, I needed a caloric deficit. So as I said, my maintenance calories were around 2,000, but I also had to bear in mind how many calories I would be burning in a day on top of that. So we'll just say I burned an extra 1,000 calories on top of that. So I had to cut by at least 250 to lose proper fat. Many people make the mistake when they are going on a calorie deficit to just not eat at all, or like consume less than even like 1,200 calories. And obviously you shouldn't do that. You don't need me to say it. Anyone will tell you that eating less than that is dangerous, touch and starvation mode. Your body will just react in a way where it just keeps the fat and it just prevents any effective weight loss. Don't get me wrong, I've made that mistake before, and that can be a video one day if you guys are interested in just finding out the mistakes I've made along this fitness journey. But if you want a video on that, then try and get this video to 25 likes, and I'll just share a video with you guys on the many mistakes I've made on this fitness journey. But back to the point of diets, you realistically just have to get your nutrition right for the most part. So for me, I reduced fats and said goodbye to all the processed foods and takeaways. And what I increased in terms of my diet was my protein intake from whole meat, and just made sure I was taking in the right amount of starchy carbs from like rice or pasta to fuel me up for my workouts, and my fruit and veg intake in general. And what also helps is drinking water in general, which is something that I did anyway. And try and drink as much water as you can to hydrate yourself throughout the day. A safe number is usually like 2 litres. But point being, drink as much water as you can throughout the day. It'll help flush out the toxics inside of your body. What I did at the start to help with my calorie deficit, calorie tracking. Calorie tracking helps a lot, especially if you use an app that can help you count your calories. Say for example, MyFitnessPal. It's what I used, and it's what a couple of other famous fitness YouTubers like Behzinga and Joe Weller have used, and it will definitely help you. Especially with calorie counting, you do need to be strict with yourself, because even if you have one biscuit, get that down, because it can make a difference. Because like one biscuit probably like 80 calories. To burn 80 calories, you probably have to run 8 minutes just to burn that. So every calorie matters. So what I'm saying is, you just have to be strict with yourselves if you want to calorie count properly. Right, so we are now coming to the end of this video. We are now on the third and final topic, which is exercise. So all I'm going to say with this one is train smart, whatever you do, whether it be weightlifting or cardio or anything that you do in the gym. Make sure you're training smart and efficiently, and just choose a program that suits your spare time for the gym. Don't be that guy or girl who goes to the gym and ego lifts on the bench, especially, because you'll just be setting yourself up for failure, really. Definitely not speaking from personal experience. But moving on swiftly. So luckily for me, when I started, I had Lewis to basically guide me on what to do, and he gave me a good split of the week that suited my time for the gym, which was 6 days split between 3 different pairs of muscles. So for example, chest and triceps, back and biceps, and shoulders and legs. And then I would try and do them 3 different pairs twice a week, and along with them I would try and throw in abs twice a week, and then cardio every other day when possible. But in terms of cardio, I just either do runs or play football with my mates. try to anyway. One thing about playing sports with your friends, it's a good form of cardio because not only are you playing with your mates, so you're not even thinking about the dull exercise, you're just having fun and burning a lot of calories while you're at it. But anyways, I will talk about cardio at some point in the future in a different video in the spare day that I have in the week, because obviously I just said I use 6 days a week for the muscles and abs and cardio. I prefer to have an active rest day. So an active rest day is just where you are still doing some form of exercise, burning calories, but obviously you aren't going intense and like messing your recovery up. So for me, in my case, I'd usually do hill walks or just 30 minutes on the bike, but not intense, like I'm not riding intensely on the bike. An active rest day isn't everyone's preference. You don't have to include that, but it is my preference just because I just add it in to make sure I stay consistent in terms of like going to the gym and making sure I'm active every day rather than being completely lazy on my days off. With the exact workouts that I do, I'll save that for a video at a later time. But to quickly sum up this video, everything that I've told you was what helped me and what has gotten me to the point of where I am at now. But as I've already said, I'm not an expert, so take what I've said with a pinch of salt. But reflecting back to where I was compared to now, I can say that I'm at least somewhat proud of the progress that I've made. So at the start, obviously, I was 103 kilograms, and now I am around 77 kilograms, so that's 13 months on. The lowest I've hit was 70, and that was around March, I believe. So realistically, the most I've lost was just over 30 to 33 kilograms. But obviously, over the last couple of months, I've been focusing on putting muscle on. That being said, I do owe credit to my close friends because it is them that have always motivated me and pushed me to carry on and keep going with this journey. So a massive shout out to them because it was their constant encouragement and acknowledgement of the progress that I've made that has helped me like just want to carry on even more. So that's also another high that you'd experience if you was to go on this with your friends, because just the constant support and acknowledgement of the progress you've made from your friends really does give you a massive boost, especially in your mental health. So if there was another tip I was to give you guys before I sign off on this video, it's to just take pictures throughout for yourself in terms of keeping track of your body in general if you're doing this journey anyway, especially from the start, because just speaking from personal experience, I know that you might not be comfortable with taking pictures. I wasn't comfortable at the start, but I needed to actually acknowledge the progress I've made. It's so important, especially when you see the first picture to wherever you may be at now after a couple of months. Just knowing that you've made progress from going from there at the start to where you are now, that it does give you a lift, and it genuinely does, especially when people acknowledge it as well. So the rewards are definitely outweigh the somewhat cons of taking pictures of yourself. Obviously, as you're going along in this journey, just make sure you remember why you're doing it from the start. Well, obviously, just make sure you don't lose your head for vanity reasons, because obviously that can mess with your mind in the long term. But anyways, that is pretty much what I have to say in this very, very long video. So if you are still watching at this point, I can only say thank you so much for sticking around. And I hope this video does become of great use to you, or maybe your friends if you want to share it with them. And if you liked what you've seen today, then drop it a like, subscribe to the channel, because hopefully it can build on this. If you have any video requests or need any advice from me, God forbid, then you can either drop them in the comments or drop a message to my socials, which will be in the description below. But once again, thank you very much for your time, and I promise to you all that this is only just the beginning.